Hi everybody, this is me, Malachi, and this is Sela, and this is Ezra. They're both babies. And I'm going to be reviewing the Complete Canadian Curriculum 5. Now for those of you who don't know what the 5 means, it means grade 5. Now this book covers the 4 keys in the grade 5 Canadian curriculum. Math, English, Social Studies, and Science. So Ezzy had to take a nap. Well, anyways, so the 4 key subjects that this book talks about is, well, not talks about, that it makes you do is math, English, social studies, and science. Now, let's go take a look at the first subject, math. So math, for example, has different areas like fractions. So for every single math, there's like this little box over here that explains it. And then after there's this little illustration where it's a girl or a boy or someone doing math. And then after there's a bunch of questions below. So for example, this one says types of fractions, fill in the blanks with the given words. And then it gets easy when you first start off, but then it gets harder and harder and harder until you transition to the new level. So the next subject is English. English is a pretty cool subject. It has, like, for example, as you see here, these paragraphs and sentences in this entire text that explains stuff that happened in real life. And after, you have to answer questions that involve the text. And also, English deals with, you have to do like pronouns, adjectives, nouns, verbs, all those type of stuff. The texts are actually very helpful because they tell you about real stuff and real stories. So if you ever wonder about the dime, like one day you're walking and you're like, I wonder what's the ship on the dime. It has a story about the dime, the ship on the dime. It's called the Blue Nose. And if you want information on this type of stuff, you could probably find it in here. And so English is a subject. This part of the book is actually fun. It's very fun to read all these texts and then do all these search and finds and crossword puzzles. I really like this part of the book, and just like math, it's very important, so that's why it's a bigger section of the book. The next subject is Social Studies. Now, Social Studies is a more fun part because you get to learn about the history of Canada, and also, by the way, not to mention, it's one of my favorite subjects. And it tells you stories. You have to answer questions like the rest of this book. So it tells you mostly about the First Nations, the Europeans, the history of Canada. And then there's also, you read about, there's stuff back down here. Like for example, so this question is identify the challenges faced by the First Nation and European explorers, or both. And then you would read these, and then you would sort them out by First Nations, European explorers, or both. So, Social Studies is similar to English, except there's a little bit less text. There's only like little tiny ones, more questions. But yeah, it's almost the same thing. It's a very fun part. There's a lot of interactive stuff in it. Now our next subject is science. Now, science and social studies are smaller than math and English. Just to let you know. So science is about the stuff that you learn in science class, like energies, the human body, solid, liquid, gas, all those type of stuff. It's more not into text, so there's not that much text, unlike social studies and English. It's kind of more like math, more questions. At the bottom of some of these science pages, you will find these experiments to do at home. So it will tell you what you need to do. It'll tell you what you need to do, and then after you do it, it's kind of like when you're doing DIYs at home. What I didn't like is that the answer sheet was attached to the book. And parents wouldn't like that too, because the kids could just go like, I'm cheating. Yes, I got all the answers right here. And it's just so hard to rip it out. So if any of the people that make this book are watching, may you please sell this separately. And also, I have a problem with science and social studies being so small. Because if you look over here, there's colors, and the blue is math, orange is English, and science and social studies are red and green. Now, yeah, you probably know what I mean by it's not thick enough. But overall, it's a good book. Another problem I have is that there should be like tabs to show, so math is here, English is here, social studies is here, and science is here. But then you could just get your own sticky notes and put them in, but then that falls out. So it's a good book, helps you be good in school, helps you be a little bit more advanced. And if your teacher might have either missed it or you were off in La La Land dreaming while your teacher did that part, then well, there you have it. This is your answer to all your questions. Right here. The complete Canadian curriculum. 5. If you're grade 5, take this. And if you're grade 4 prepping for grade 5, I also recommend this. Now, bye until the next review from me, the Sleeping Sila, and Ezzy.